Hi Karolina, you're the author of La Femme ourse, The Bear Woman. Thank you for being here. Could you describe your novel to us in a 1-minute pitch?
Yes, it's a story about a story. It's a worn-out, middle-aged writer and mother of 3 who hears about the young demoiselle Marguerite de la Roque, who in 1542 went with the French Viceroy du Canada on his ship there. And after a sexual scandal, he left her and her lover to die on an island that he named Île des Démons. She survived there and in effect became the first European person to live in North America at a time when many explorers failed to do so. Her story was concealed, and the writer tries to uncover it and to write it, and it becomes this meditation on what it is to be a woman, on writing, and on how we are connected through time.
And what inspired you as a writer in Marguerite de la Roque's character?
I tend to always write about the things that scare me and the things that I'm confused by. And I think what happened to her on this island was everything that I, as a new mother, was afraid of. All these possibilities of loss and pain that comes with having children. And then, of course, there was this, the way how her story has been told in many different ways. And once I started to read the French Renaissance texts, there are 3 texts about her, I realized that it was like an enigma or a puzzle that became really mysterious, because there were all these facts that remained unclear and varied a lot from each other. And so that really fascinated me to try to piece together this story.
And her story, it's a tale of survival also, and a tale of isolation. What did she represent for you as a writer as you were writing this novel?
Well, she represented, of course, the inferiority of women and centuries of abuse against women. But there was also, I think, maybe in this time when women can have it all and can do whatever they want, there can also be like a certain longing for reclusiveness or for going into hiding, like hibernation, like a bear woman. And I think the writer is doing something like that. It's very similar to writing, to setting up this space for yourself or like a room of your own. And I think that is also a driving force for this writer-narrator, that she's really longing to get to that pretty isolated place. And also, I mean, isolation in a way is something that we might seek. I mean, motherhood can be a very isolated place, especially maybe I think in the Nordic countries. And so there can be this sort of refuge in having like a legitimate reason, a child, to sort of turn away from the world.
And how does being a writer, a creator, really weaves itself into a woman's life? Is creation an obstacle or a survival technique?
To me, it's definitely been both. I have always wanted to write about the things that I believe control me in order to be able to control them, to like turn them into an object that I can handle. But I think, I mean, I started out very young as a writer, and I wanted to give it my all. But very soon I also wanted to have a child, and this was something that confused me a lot, this female desire, or maybe even like a biological urge that I felt that I couldn't really speak to any of my Swedish feminist friends about because it was kind of taboo at the time. But so what happened was that I had a child and kept on writing, and several years later I had 2 more children and I wrote more books, and I realized that having them was not really a threat to my writing. On the other hand, it really made me into a better writer because I had to take better care of my time, and also I think because I got closer to existence in a sense.
And I do consider La Femme, ourse to be a feminist novel, and especially because it deals so strongly with motherhood and writing and the way the two combines. In what ways do you consider it a feminist novel?
Well, it is an investigation of a case of abuse, an historic case of abuse against a woman. And I think for me, I grew up with this view of the world, this feminist point of view, long before it was mainstream, even in Sweden. But I think in this book, there is a certain ambiguity towards the contemporary feminist movements that I think the reader can pick it up. And probably it's only natural today when feminism is a lot more applauded and even rewarded.
Do you have any kind of specific rituals when you are writing?
I don't anymore. I used to have a lot of rituals, and I used to have a lot of practical needs in order to be able to write. I used to drink a lot of coffee and smoke many cigarettes and have to be sitting in a place, a completely silent room all by myself. And I used to want to write for hours and hours, day and night. But then I had 3 children, and now I don't need anything. I can just sit down and write anywhere and everywhere.
Thank you, Karolina RAMQVIST, for this interview. Do you want to say a few words to your French readers en français?
Je suis très heureuse d'être ici avec ce livre, La Femme, ourse. Et oui, elle est partiellement française. Et j'espère que vous trouverez quelque chose dedans pour vous.
Merci Karolina.